See, the thing is, because we don't want to buy Coke products anymore, we got rid of the Topo Chico, and I think we have San Pellegrino in here. It tastes like wet pennies.
Oh, no.
Plenty of people here buy Coke.
That's disgusting.
Yes. We have a lot to get to. We had to change the entire map.
Really?
Today. Yeah, because I don't know if you know this, but Minneapolis is on fire.
Again?
Not in the NBA, it's jam sense. Well, in a sense.
Again.
Like this girl?
Yeah. So we have a lot to get to today. Gerald A. is here. How are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm terrible. Quarterback Garrett, how are you?
I'm doing great. Well, except for, the riots.
Yeah, except for the riots. And then we have Landau Dave on the Twitter at Landau Dave. Are you doing a show this weekend?
Ahoy, I am. I'm going to be in Florida Thursday through Saturday. Port Charlotte, Visani. Good food.
Don't wear your mask around. They kick your ass around those parts for doing stuff like that around there.
Oldest people in the country are actually in where I'm performing. And
Wonderful.
not as many of them died because Cuomo doesn't run the show.
Oh,
there.
yeah,
that's
very
great.
Nice.
That's good news.
That's the amazing thing, too. When you take Florida, and I get some people say, transmission rates, it's right in the middle of the pack. But the fact is, like, the median age is almost Biden.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's got to start his sets at 4 o'clock, to finish up on time. So.
The early bird
it's
special.
bedtime. Come on, let's wrap it up.
I think the early show is 6.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Dinner starts at 3.
Yeah.
It's
It's the only comedy club where they offer several meal choices. They offer standard meal, vegan, pescatarian, and those for those who can't choose. So it's just a liquid diet.
yes, they blend it.
Yeah, exactly.
Blend it.
Blend the burger.
Just, instead of getting pelted with vegetables, you're getting pelted with to-go ninja cups.
They all fall short, though. That's
My
fine.
oats fossilized. So, look, we have a lot to get to. We're going to be talking about Minneapolis. There are some updates going on as we are live right now. We can go to CNN. Well, right now it's a Jardiance commercial. I don't know what that is, but I assume someone's in pain, in moderate to severe plaque-like pain and needs it.
Jeez.
But we will, as the
herpes.
live updates come in, we'll be following it. But first, look, I don't know how much further we have to go for people to declare this Orwellian. Like we've talked about, we had our videos removed as it related to anything election-related, COVID, which we can. So let's not repeat what we said about COVID, because we would never say that the CDC numbers have, different mortality rates for young people and old people.
No, never.
And compare it to the flu. I would never encourage you to go directly to the CDC website and read their own numbers.
No.
No. We wouldn't do that.
But now we're at the point where YouTube deleted a video of a roundtable with Governor DeSantis, and he had with medical professionals from Harvard, Oxford, and Stanford. But according to YouTube, they don't follow the science. Yeah. Harvard, Stanford, and Oxford, the people who got James Damore removed without question, they're the ones who are the authorities on science. So they removed it for COVID-19 misinformation. Let me give you a couple things really quickly. So the guy in question was Dr. Martin Kulderoff of Harvard. And what YouTube claimed, and there's an article from NBC, that it was COVID misinformation, okay? Two specific instances in the video. One is where he was talking about COVID and comparing it to the flu for children in mortality rates.
Them.
Not us. This is why it was removed, because he said it's significantly less lethal than the flu for children. Okay, so that was a reason it was removed. And then there was another point in the video which YouTube said was removed, and NBC corroborated this, because then he was asked about the efficacy of masks, specifically in schools, and whether children should wear masks.
Right.
And he said that he didn't think so. Now, you can't find this anywhere on YouTube, so we have tried to, obviously as a public service, make this available to you. This is Governor Ron DeSantis and Dr. Martin Kulldorff. I'm trying my best. From Harvard. This is, however, we've managed to hopefully make this YouTube friendly. So now you know.
While anybody can be infected, there's a more than 1,000-fold difference in mortality risk between the oldest and the youngest. So for all people, have to be very careful, because this is more dangerous than the annual influenza. But for children,
here on YouTube, it's important I say it is more deadly than any pandemic for kids, including Spanish flu, bubonic plague, rickets, and even AIDS. And herpes is for life, so it's good that we lock them up.
Dr. Gupta mentioned about, not putting masks on kids. That's not effective, not necessary. Martin Calder, do you agree in school there's no need for them to be wearing face masks?
I think children should be wearing triple mask and breathing through snorkel that they make from scented candle.
We are relentless.
There you have it.
It's YouTube friendly.
There you go. Yeah. It looks like Brown Doc Brown.
At what point do you say, hey, look,
Yeah.
we're past the point now where doctors, medical professionals are not allowed to speak on current data available. That is being removed from the public town square.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are our officials talking to us. And whether you agree with these medical experts or not, they're medical experts. They're experts in their field. I mean, I'm not sure what else they need to do to be considered knowledgeable on this. And then one of the doctors...
Have first name doctor, last name Fauci.
I know. Well, exactly. They didn't get it from
Yeah.
the University of Phoenix Online. No offense. I'm just saying. Maybe not the same as Oxford.
They've actually treated a
anybody
patient within the last 40 years.
You insult my degree one more time, I'm going to come over there. I played for their
he's gonna-
basketball team.
He's going to rise from his VPN ashes.
Yeah,
That's right.
absolutely. Well, look, I think it's just crazy, though, that we have people like this speaking out there. And they basically brought up a point. They said, and I'm not going to say what the guidelines say, I'm just saying that the CDC guidelines on masking kids is different than WHO's. That's it.
Yeah.
They were talking about the differences. The WHO and the CDC have differing guidelines right now. I'm not saying that they completely say one way or the other. Just saying they have different guidelines. And it's okay to talk about why.
And we'll have that available at louderwithcrowder.com. That being said, if you go and check, the link is in the description. If you go and read it, you'll probably be tracked.
And that being said, just because they advertise your college during Maury doesn't mean you're garbage.
Maury's still...
By the way, Dave,
I don't know. I
you
hope not.
are the father. Yeah.
I am?
Oh,
He always is. Every
let
time.
him know on the show.
And now
No time
let's
for
get
dancing.
to what's going on in the rest of the country. We'll get to Minneapolis in a second, which, of
yeah.
course, is trending everywhere right now. But on Saturday, over the weekend, Portland, of course, not to be outdone, and then it was immediately outdone. They burned down a federal ICE facility yet again.
Won't all the ice melt? Get it?
And there's more video than you can watch in a lifetime. Rioters chanting every city, every town, burn this precinct to the ground. At least they're better than hey, hey, ho, ho.
That is a little
that's
bit
true.
creative.
A little rhymey, you know.
They also obscured the security cameras with a traffic cone, had graffiti that read DHS murders. So I don't know. I guess, at some point there'll be some sort of an article about them being insurrectionists.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I mean, it seems to me like when you say, hey, are you an insurrectionist? And the answer is yes.
That qualifies?
You've got
Yeah.
it.
No.
Yeah, you
no.
think.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like, you had 250,000 people in the Capitol on January 6th, and you had a couple hundred people who were waved in by the cops, and it got unruly. And, of course, I'm not condoning what happened there. It got out of hand.
not.
But then from the get-go, they're like, hey, are you here to peacefully protest? Oh, no, so we're here for the insurrection. Right this way.
Ah, yes.
Oh, I heard
guy
a
with
protester.
horns.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
protester.
What's
Peaceful.
their particular beef with the DHS?
I don't know. I don't think they know.
I'm curious.
They
It's
just,
a- it's a building.
I know they hate ICE because they believe in. Hey, I don't know if this is legal. As a matter of fact, I'm quite sure it isn't. But I've thought about starting a GoFundMe, which of course I'd be banned. But I don't know. Maybe I'll just set up an account where you can send some Bitcoin and unmarked bills. Since we're letting, which I guess all Bitcoin is unmarked. They're not bills, they're coins. What am I talking about?
boy.
The point is, I want all conservative Canadians to illegally migrate to the state of Michigan. And I would love to buy homes and create and just the state of Michigan should become conservative Canada South. And what can they do? What's Whitmer going to do? So everyone right there who doesn't want to be locked down for days on end and be arrested for walking your dog, just go to Michigan, cross over the border. There's nothing they can do. And of course, the housing market is awful. You can get homes for like $11.
Depending where you're at.
Depending where you
Put
are.
the hockey back in Hockey Town, friend. I'm
Let's
with you.
do it. Don't be alarmed by the giant black fist in Detroit. That's Joe Louis. It seems more intimidating
there's
than it
context.
is, but all are welcome.
Well, and like a nod to communism. That's also just fine.
I don't really think that's what it is. It's
No,
just
it's
Joe
just Joe Louis.
It's just
No,
Joe
it's the
Louis.
boxer.
No, it is Joe Louis. It has nothing to do with
No,
communism.
there used to be a sickle there.
Racist.
There did not used to be a sickle.
Absolutely.
There's also the spirit of Detroit who's sitting crisscross applesauce.
It's true.
I
All right.
Yeah.
So now,
I can't say it the other way because that's offensive to
right,
no
you
one.
can't say it
Don't
the
say
other way. Minneapolis. This is trending right now. Are they're not talking about? Well, they're probably not talking about it on CNN because some new news has emerged.
Oh.
So probably what you initially heard was police again shoot an unarmed black man. with no
Right.
reason. And look, we don't have all of the information right now, but I can tell you that that's some bullshit. So that's enough to start with.
Okay.
That the idea there was just an unarmed black man who was sitting there, traffic stop, like, hey, your tail light's out, and he, unloaded the clip. That's not what happened. However, Dwante Wright, if I have this name hopefully correct, Dante Wright,
Dante.
was shot by police during a traffic stop in Minneapolis, and immediately, of course, protests started to break out. Here's a clip showing some of the protests and also showing the mom of Dante
Right.
asking people not to do exactly how they be.
But I need you guys to, all the violence, if it keeps going, it's only going to be about the violence. We need it to be about why my son got shot for no reason. We need to make sure that it's about him, not about smashing police cars, because that's not going to bring my son back.
Now, it should be noted that all they heard was smashing police cars, and so they did.
Is that his biological mom?
I believe
Yeah.
so. Again, a lot of
He's
this,
half and half.
I need to be clear,
Yeah.
not all of this can be corroborated, but that's how it's being covered in mainstream news sites.
She's white.
Yeah,
Did anybody notice?
I noticed.
No,
Oh.
Dave. I don't see
I noticed
color.
that she was a beautiful,
Yes.
brave woman.
Is it BBW they call it?
I think so. I don't know. But the point is, she said, don't do this. Don't smash police cars. And they said, smash police cars? She said, don't. Do the opposite of that. And if ever you needed a more clear example of the disconnect between actual justice, which usually involves waiting for information, waiting for the facts, and the reason that people are going out and rioting and protesting, and of course Black Lives Matter raising over $1 billion from these corporations, and then one of the founders buying four $1.4 million homes in predominantly white areas, which, no problem. I know what you do with your money is none of my business until it's a nonprofit, and then it kind of is everybody else's business. That's the nature of a nonprofit. This is where we are right now. Now, here's something, too. I cannot 100% confirm. I want to be clear. However, this is making the rounds. It does seem that it's legitimate. Well,
Probably
before
like 1.2 the second he bought it.
the what? What'd you say?
I said it's probably
No.
1.2 the second he
Well,
bought
listen.
it.
Yeah, probably.
Technically, only the first one was 1 point.
It was
The others
she. It
were a
was
little
she.
lower.
She.
The,
Oh,
Brook-
sorry,
this is the,
her.
Brook, the Brooklyn Center is where the riots erupted. The Brooklyn Center Police Department, they issued a press release saying that officers determined the driver of the vehicle had an outstanding warrant. Right now, I have people looking for that. If you're on Twitter and you found the warrant, send it to us, and we'll bring it up here later in the show. It's been a little bit difficult to find. At one point, as officers were attempting to take the driver into custody, the driver re-entered the vehicle. One officer discharged their firearm, striking the driver. The vehicle traveled several blocks before striking another vehicle. Now, this is something right now that may be from Dante's arrest. Police scanner audio has been making the rounds. It seems to line up. It's pretty tough to corroborate all this information the morning of, and of course, it's really hard when you're using Google to search for facts. So this is from the police scanner audio, I believe, that seems to insinuate he may have had a firearm, and he certainly was running from police officers.
Got a Minnesota temp tag, up to about 34th, still southbound.
Copy. Is this pursuit?
He's approaching Lowry. Copy the pursuit. Can we confirm this is a carjacked vehicle?
Affirm. We talked to some cops and twos earlier when we saw it. They said it was matching the description, taken at gunpoint.
6-3 Glendale.
Copy.
Wait, give me the radio. He's got a gun in his hand.
Still going.
He's across Glendale, still running westbound. Whose sweatshirt and pants in his waistband? He had a gun in his hand. He's going to be coming out to Aldrich.
401 on Lowry, need a description.
And keep in mind, this is taken
Black
from
male.
about 20-something minutes.
Blue sweatshirt, light colored pants, mid-length.
So there you go. There's a description, obviously, of what he was wearing when
I heard
the-
gun?
I heard two.
Yeah, I heard two. Yeah, I heard it's that Midwestern. I heard, we're going southbound. I heard Stephen Avery making a police call.
Yeah, he's in Brainerd. Shot several.
Yeah, I think this is. Look, we don't know if it's 100% accurate, but it does seem to be that incident in question. Again, At the very least, all I'm saying here is wait before you burn someone else's stuff down.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
definitely not enough to do that.
Wait before you commit a crime, because maybe this kid, of course, we know, sometimes there are unfortunate situations. Maybe this kid didn't deserve what happened.
Of course, yeah.
Maybe there was an outstanding warrant, like the police have said, and maybe he had a firearm and was fleeing arrest. We don't know. And I think we've reached the point right now where if you don't know, usually when we were raised, you don't know, err on the side of caution. Now it's, you don't know, is there something reflective nearby? Break it. Break that shit. And that is, I would say, an issue. Not necessarily ideal as a direction societally, but right now to actually explain some of this to us, because we understand, and we've been accused of Porter Black Garrett notwithstanding of being tone deaf. We have our very own formerly Professor Penis in the transgender criminology. He actually has been working on a new PhD in urban criminology, and here he is to deliver actually his live thesis on air.
I won't stand by as innocent people are slaughtered.
All right, how are you there, Professor Penis?
Good. How you doing?
Well, we might need to get you a little closer to the microphone and get the microphone on there. Can we hear you?
There we go.
Seems like we need we need more qualified professors, and I mean, it seems like you're not the. This isn't your niche, but you say that you are working on something other than.
Yeah. So as the audience is familiar, I'm Professor Penis. I have a PhD in penis and penis-related sciences, but I'm working on, as you said, a new thesis.
Yeah.
This is urban criminology and community response.
Oh, okay.
So,
great. So you're working on this thesis. So maybe you can explain to us, obviously right now people are confused as to what the possible scenarios are that come from a scenario like this.
Yeah, so here are the basic elements of criminality and crime-related structures.
Okay, and I see community interaction. So you have police, suspect.
So these are the elements, yeah. So we have police, police human, male or female or any of the other ones. Suspect and community reactions.
Right, okay. So let's take us through this, because it seems like right now, regardless of the verdict, that we have sort of a foregone out. We thought with Chauvin, if regardless of the verdict, they were going to riot. Turns out we don't even have a verdict. So we would like to know what sequence of events, where the ultimate sort of end game is. So let's start with this.
Let's start with police. A normal, non-violent traffic violation.
Traffic violation, okay.
So
Possible
if the perpetrator is white, nothing
gets done because they never.
There will still be riots.
There will be riots. Okay, yeah, that's true.
So now we'll go change the race here to black, say non-violent traffic
violation. Right.
Black if he is just arrested and complies.
Riots. Okay.
If he resists a bit, he can either get shot or apprehended.
Okay.
Either way, those both will lead to
I'm seeing
riots
a trend
again.
here.
Riots. So now we can jump over to the suspect.
Okay, so this is important. The suspect might be different from the police interaction.
Okay, so
seeing it from other perspectives.
So we have suspect, the police interaction happens. If he complies,
that would be
follow
ideal.
Here, arrest again, which goes to riots.
So I see that you had to add that retroactively.
Exactly. If he resists, it combines here again.
Could be apprehended or shot.
Yeah, could be shot up. Riots again.
Okay, understood.
Sure.
Yep. He can call his mother or parent figure.
Right, that's happened before with people.
The community will then hear of this. That will lead to
riots. Okay.
Sure. Complies,
Let's go to the community reaction there. And I don't know if you guys have any questions, because I feel like, And this is your thesis, correct?
This is the main, this is kind of the bulk.
Right, this is the bulk of your thesis. So community reaction?
Community, if there obviously could be a riot already happening here.
Right.
That will be
more. It could already be starting.
That'll just be more riots.
Continuing.
Is it is your PhD in penis, or is it your last name?
It's just the PhD in penis-related sciences in general.
Is there any sort of thing that wouldn't lead to a riot?
Yeah.
That's being looked into.
Okay.
So far, we haven't found that. Me and my team mostly. Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So there's nothing that you have in your thesis that you think could help us to avoid.
Not at the moment.
Okay.
Well, I mean, of course, if they're not guilty, I mean, I think we have a couple of apprehended up there between police and suspects.
That's true. What if they're not guilty?
Up there, it does.
Oh yeah. So let's see. Go to arrest, not guilty. Yeah, still,
No,
Still ends up with riots. Okay.
Okay.
Well, listen. You know what? It's at least important that we trusted the science. So, Professor
Yeah,
Penis.
this is all this is very.
Yeah. Well, I
scientific,
appreciate
so,
it, and good luck on your thesis,
Cool,
and
thanks.
be sure to take the back roads home.
Yeah, I had a preliminary grade already. The other.
Oh, that's right.
Peer
Did you?
review. Yeah,
You already submitted the thesis.
Yeah, it was peer reviewed. I got a solid C plus. I kind of haggled up to a B minus
Well,
range.
good for
so,
you.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, solid B.
Thank you. All right, Professor Penis, everybody.
Cool. Thank you.
We need better scientists.
I mean, he's out of his depth. He's getting used to this.
I only follow the science until they pull it off YouTube.
Right.
Yeah.
I only follow the science that YouTube allows me to follow.
Then it
Right.
doesn't exist.
That, yeah.
If it's not on YouTube.
It's
doesn't
like if a
exist.
tree falls in the woods, or like a riot.
Yeah.
If
a
you
riot,
push a
if a
tree
riot
over
takes
and
place
burn it.
in the woods, is Fauci there to justify it?
Yeah.
You don't know.
We have no idea.
He does look like he makes cookies in a tree.
He does.
It's like, stop burning down my house.
He does look like he also might moonlight as someone in a gingerbread house who ultimately gets, shoved in the oven by angry children who didn't want to be baked.
Really?
He looks like the.
There's no redemption in the Hansel and Gretel
No, there
story.
is not.
When you
Yeah.
think about it, it's not like, they learned how to love. They just shoved that bitch in the oven.
What's good for the goose?
It's awesome. That's what you should do.
Yeah.
I mean,
If somebody tries to eat your
trying to eat
kids,
you.
you're going to be like, look, push the bitch in the oven.
That really is the only just outcome.
It
I
is.
think, right?
You teach her.
They were bad kids.
So-
Their
so-
parents left them in the woods. So.
Before we move on, I want to go back to one thing.
And the lady who lived in a shoe was just a slut. But yeah,
It was a shrew, yeah.
A lot of cats.
You made a good point. People need to wait, right? There could two opposite options, right? He was running back to his car yelling, "I'm going to get my gun to kill you," right? That's an option. And then police react. Or running back to his car, "Hey, I forgot my ID. Is that cool?" Right? We have no idea what he was doing yet, but it really is hard to hold an opinion when elected officials come out and say, and I can't remember who said this in Minneapolis, said, I regret that we've lost another black man to police officer shooting again, right? So
Yeah.
really highlighting these points and saying, oh, it happened again. And again, go back to the other stuff that we've been talking about with Maxine Water and other politicians coming out and saying, this is racism. It's hard to hold.
Well, by the
It's
way,
hard
the
to wait
reason that
for
they
the
were there
facts.
so quickly was I believe there was already a Black Panthers protest going on there in town
already?
So
Okay.
they got there
Just
really
co-opted,
quickly.
yeah.
Yeah, it was just like a two for one.
Like,
and
we
they
already here.
They burned down the Brooklyn Center, by the way, a liquor store and stuff. So
Really?
they harmed people in their own. When I say they, I mean people in this community,
Right, yeah.
regardless of race. Look, there's obviously a demographic in the community, but the fact is, the person harmed, the person whose liquor store was ransacked and burned down, was likely a part of that demographic in the community.
Yeah.
This is not going to end. I don't know. Look, talk about frog in boiling water. It's boiling. It's boiling at this point. We're at a point right now where YouTube's. Well, you can't say that because maybe that's offensive. Well, you can't. Now it's you can't be a doctor. You can't be a scientist from Harvard and quote the CDC data or the World Health Organization if they don't go together on any given day.
Yeah.
And now you cannot speak out against riotous barbarism without being accused of being racist. Well, you know what? You know who wants more police presence than we currently have? Most black people in this country. These people in these communities are the ones who suffer most. And you see that mom right there saying, "Hey, look, please stop this, right? Let's not." They do it anyway.
Well, the whole
And the
reason-
barbarism needs to fade. Get it?
I see what you're saying there.
Well, the
Thank
whole
you,
reason that
everyone.
they banned
Thank
Donald
you.
Trump was that his
QB.
speech led to violence, right? They're saying, oh, but your speech about elections has led to violence, and so we can't have that. What do you think a statement like that from an elected official in your state saying, I can't believe we lost another black man to police brutality, basically, or to a police shooting, I should say. What do you think that is pushing people towards thinking? Like, oh, it's happened again. It's the same thing we've been fighting again. That doesn't lead to violence?
This is entirely conjecture, okay? But here's my bet. Because then they say, look, and then they came back in riot gear later and took the body. They left him on the side of the road and came back in riot gear later, took the body while everyone was grieving. Here's my bet. If I have to bet what happened. Entirely conjecture. I cannot corroborate this. This is just a hunch. You can come back and tell me if I'm wrong, kind of like when we watched the Joe Biden press briefing, whatever it was called, the first press conference live. and I happen to be right. I was 3 for 3. My prediction here is what most likely happened is on the front end, some kind of a miscommunication. Most likely, a guy had a warrant. I tend to believe that the cops are being accurate about that. Maybe he had a gun.
Looks like we have the warrants.
We do have the warrants?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, let's bring up this warrant. This is happening live right now.
We have 2. This one was for possession and sale of small amounts of marijuana.
Okay, well,
and then this one,
ridiculous.
this one was for disorderly conduct. But he was called into court and to pay fines, and he never paid the fine, and he never showed up in court. So then warrants were issued for his arrest, is what it sounds like.
And that doesn't sound like that's a big deal, but the issue there is if you don't show up in court, again, if it's, well, what if I don't want to pay the fines? Look, at a certain point, there has to be some accountability, son.
Yeah, of course.
One time, there was a warrant out for my arrest.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know
I tried to turn you in for the money.
Yeah, no, you know exactly what happened was I got
signs.
this is true. I got a speeding ticket in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Yeah.
And it was a total speed trap where it goes from 40 to 20 and then to 40 for about 2 blocks.
And a cop sits right there.
I probably know where an angry little lesbian cop. And she was angry and she was lesbian. I don't say that as a she was angry.
Both?
She was both. I know. Usually it's one or the other.
I know. I've never seen it combined.
And she came up. She gave me a ticket. It was in my wife's car at the time. It was in a car that wasn't mine, in a state where I didn't live, and they posted it to some address where I had never been. So I never got the ticket in the mail. Completely forgot about it. Turned out that since I didn't pay it, there was a warrant, and I went in and I paid it. They just said, okay, you just need to pay a fine. It was reduced to less than a traffic violation because I was going like 5 over.
Yeah.
But the point is, I had to go into court. The cop said, you cannot drive in the car right now. Switch with your wife right now who's a passenger. And I complied. Oh, okay. I completely forgot about this ticket. The point is, do I think that someone should be arrested for marijuana? No, I don't. I don't believe that nonviolent drug offenders need to be arrested. However, if there's disorderly conduct, there's a wide umbrella there. We don't know what happened. There needs to be some kind of justice. There needs to be a hashing out process. If you don't show up in court, at some point, they're going to have to arrest you. So here's my bet. Let me just kind of give you what I think is most likely here. Police say, okay, there's a warrant here. There's some kind of a traffic violation. He knows there's a warrant out for his arrest. He gets disorderly. Obviously, this guy has a history of being disorderly. Maybe he has a gun. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he flees. Maybe he goes to grab the gun like a Jacob Blake scenario. He gets shot. Now what happens? The reason why did he leave his body on the side of the road? My guess is what probably happened, and since they had a Black Panthers rally right nearby, is they realized this is going to be a heated scenario. Protesters are already here, so they left, came back with riot gear to protect themselves and retrieve the body. That would be my guess. Come on back and tell me when I'm wrong. I have no idea. This is just my guess with the information that's available to me. Certainly not a reason to riot and burn down your neighbor's stuff. Hey, what happened to Christianity? Doesn't that matter? How about something about being good to your neighbor? Even if your neighbor's a cop. In this instance, it's not even a cop. It's a guy who serves your community with, I don't know, liquor and ring dings. I'm not saying he's a prophet. Just saying you shouldn't burn down his stuff and steal his crap. By the way, we're on Instagram, Loud with Crowder. We're a live show Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern. That's the best way to just watch us, follow us. And, of course, CrowderShop.com. We'll be taking your chat a little bit later on when we are Mug Club only. You can buy these shirts at Crowder Shop.
Merch.
This wonderful piss-off YouTube shirt.
That's our favorite one. It really
You're about to say something there, Gerald.
It's my favorite.
Well, I think you're right. This happened again in Hennepin County, though. These guys are continuously very busy. I don't know if that's where the Chauvin stuff. This was 10 miles away from there when this happened, and you know that right now they're worried about riots just from stuff coming out of the trial,
right?
Much less something like this happening. And so everybody should have been like, "Hey guys, hold on, wait until we know what's going on."
I've actually just got something from Hennepin County that's a little more severe than marijuana.
Really?
Yeah.
So this is on Dante?
Same
on
guy.
Dante. This was in February of this year. Aggravated robbery.
Oh no.
Oh. Was it?
And he was released from custody. But that was
he could have gotten
Guys,
sick.
Stop.
He could have.
Yeah, he could have been released like Tekashi 6ix9ine, where he got early release because of his asthma, like Piggy from Lord of the Flies, after ratting out gang members.
Yeah,
Pussy.
sure if that was
Our gangster
Tekashi
rappers when we were
6ix9ine.
young used to actually shoot each other in the face.
Yeah, I remember when NWA had all rainbow hair. That was cool.
Yeah.
What a
Face
bunch
tattoos.
of awful pussies. I hate what's happened to them.
Yeah, sitting there, they were I remember Ice-T. Fuck the police, gotta grab my inhaler. Motherfucker named Ice Cube.
Make sure you roll over on a brother.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. Just
Yeah, the marijuana.
He wasn't referencing the trial.
Marijuana bail was $300. This felony, this aggravated robbery, was $100,000.
100,000 bail.
Hey.
So if he was released,
more.
and then let's say there was an outstanding warrant. So maybe does that seem like the disorderly conduct happened after the armed robbery? Because that would maybe mean, okay, armed robbery, disorderly conduct, and now you're going back to the clink for a long time.
No. The disorderly conduct and the marijuana charges were from like August of 2019. So that was before the robbery.
So what was the outstanding warrant for?
It
I
looks
saw
like
the banned
it looks like
warrant.
this
They
might have
were
been for
not
the robbery.
outstanding.
But how did he? But they let him free.
Yeah, all
Could've
we
been
have
out
right
on
now is
bail.
conditional release.
Okay,
He may have
conditional release.
skipped bail.
So maybe it was
Okay.
conditional release because of COVID, something like that. But the point is, okay, so look, now we're talking about armed robbery, a very expensive bail being set, and being pulled over by the police. It's just, there's always more to this. And if you know crime statistics, people act out of desperation when they don't want to go to prison.
Right.
Do we know that it's for armed robbery? Is that what it is officially? Or
Well,
is just
we
one
know
of the
that
warrants?
he was convicted of. Was he
I
charged or
got you.
convicted?
We know aggravated
Just
robbery.
curious.
I don't know if there's
Aggravated
anything
robbery.
about armed.
Sorry,
Yeah.
aggravated robbery.
Well, it sounds
Aggravated robbery. It
to
would.
be robbed.
I'd be aggravated if I were robbed. Like, you're aggravating me, you little bastard.
I've been robbed and been aggravated. Guy took the last 20 out of my ATM account. I was 19. I'm like, what are you? Come on, man.
All right,
That's
well,
not
keep
cool.
us updated as more stuff comes in. Right, this is the issue, right? It doesn't. I'm hoping that maybe this at least allows the Chauvin jurors to get rid of the guilt. Get rid of the, like, hey, listen, it's on you if this town burns. Like, well, I was already burning before we even got to a verdict, before we were even halfway through the trial. So you know what? Now let's just look at the facts and hopefully try and administer justice. How about we get to that, right? Everyone on board? Everyone?
Yeah.
Well, how about we punish the people that are destroying property?
Oh, no, that'd be
Those are
ridiculous.
protesters,
That'd be
Dave.
absurd, yeah.
But are they mostly peaceful? As long as they're mostly
as
peaceful.
long as they're mostly peaceful.
What's funny is the
Islam
term
is
mostly
mostly.
peaceful means partially violent.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's true.
Islam is also mostly peaceful as well, and that never.
Yeah.
turns-
If
The
you were
religion?
to attend any protest or any rally or any concert, any event with large people and were advertised as partially violent, you're like, ooh, you know what? I think I might stay home.
Yeah.
I knew I should have stayed home today, but now it's going mostly peaceful.
Yeah.
How many $2 billion in damages, and that's just the insurance. And keep in mind, we're about to get to Joe Biden's executive orders on guns,
Yeah.
Right.
which, by the way, we have tomorrow. I changed my mind on this topic, and then we have the voter ID one coming up next week. He talked about the cost to the American taxpayer of guns. You know, some astronomical trillions of dollars or hundreds of billions. He's going, because hospitals, legal fees. Okay, so when we use the number riots, we're just talking about $2 billion in damages with insurance costs. Not the hundreds of officer casualties. Casualties, by the way, include deaths and serious injuries.
Yeah.
Not the dozens of deaths, right? We're not talking about the thousands of arrests. So how many trillions is that costing Americans overall in trials, in legal fees, in appeals, in hospital bills? It needs to go both ways. We're just quoting the lowest number, that $2 billion in damages that will be recouped with private insurance companies. I'm sorry, guys. Look, I don't know. I mean, I want to be a happy warrior. People talk about, I don't know if we're around the bend at this point. You can't speak about your rights being infringed upon. You can't speak about your rights being stripped away by a foreign entity with the World Health Organization, who, by the way, like you said, doesn't even agree with the CDC. And now you're not supposed to be able to speak out against billions of dollars in damages and people being beaten to death in the streets.
Yeah.
Talk about wrong think. Look behind you. We're way past Orwellian. And now let's get to speaking of rights being stripped away. And by the way, you let me know. The best thing you can do is hit like, comment. Where do you think we are along the spectrum now to serfdom?
I think
with big
George
tech?
Orwell would be like, hey, guys, they're just stories.
Yeah, guys.
What are you doing?
Slow down.
Someone would submit this, right, for him and be like, hey, here's my new novel. Like, oh, look, no one's going to buy that.
That's why I made them animals in Animal Farm.
You have to make the characters three-dimensional. You can't just, this Joseph Butt, you can't just make him a total asshole. There's no relatability.
I mean, the pigs weren't wearing masks in my novel.
Right, come on now. You've been listening to too much White Album.
Yeah, oh, these kids.
Okay, so let's get to the Biden executive orders on guns. And this is the interesting thing. Again, this is how the media ends up disseminating this information. Yeah. This is their understanding of firearms. Joy Behar has also said that she has never seen a gun in real life. People have talked about this. Yeah,
what about
that's
the
what she
security
said
guys?
at some point. That's my point.
Exactly.
Talk about elitist. She is like, I've never seen a gun. I've never used a gun. She is surrounded by people with guns, so she doesn't have to get her hands dirty herself.
How have you not seen a gun?
You know what? Being a liar.
yeah, that's the only way.
No way.
This is like the
I'm
new badge
looking
of
at
honor,
one
right?
right now.
It's true.
2 of them. Way to go,
It's the
buddy.
virtue signal. I've never been around a gun. I would never. Why would I need a gun? I don't know. Why does everyone around your building at ABC need firearms? Remember I did that when I was on Sky News or BBC?
Yeah.
And the man said, Americans, why do you always need to carry a gun? You can search us on YouTube. I said, well, I don't know. I have a gun on me right now. Well, I hope. Well, why would you need that? I said, you're surrounded by people with guns right there. And she goes, no, we're not. Maybe you don't have people with M16s in the studio, but I know that the Sky News and BBC studios are protected by heavily armed security. And then he ended by saying, oh, I hope the safety latches. There's no such thing as a safety latch. This is why we left your country.
Yeah.
It's not a cabinet with a 2-year-old in the house, you dumb shit. All right. So let's go to Biden now, the executive orders on gun control. And here is the view. It's just perfect because rather than straw manning, this shows the amount of understanding that those in the media have as it relates to firearms. And then we'll go to each individual claim.
You know, when he says it's an international embarrassment, I watch a lot of foreign TV, and they'll have a joke in this show like somebody got shot, and then the cop will say, what are we, in the United States? I mean, we are an international embarrassment, just like he says.
Speak for yourself.
If you ask me,
She's talking about the View
Democrats need to seize the
specifically.
day. You know they'll never possibly have control of the House, the Senate, and the White House again. So I say push through whatever is needed and hope that Congress comes to their senses.
Well, after that, she pushed through her Metamucil. Brought to you in part by Fiber Blow.
I gotta go all the time.
I gotta go all the time. I used to have to eat wicker rocking chairs.
That's a good thing.
So these are some of the claims that they make. Here's the thing that they're talking about quite a bit right now: ghost guns. Right. So Joe Biden is wanting to mandate serial numbers, and he wants to run background checks. Here he is talking about ghost guns. That's the word of the day.
And today I'm announcing several initial steps my administration is taking to curb this epidemic of gun violence. Much more need be done, but the first want to rein in the proliferation of so-called ghost guns.
He needs Joy Behar sunglasses.
Guns that are homemade, built from a kit, that include directions on how to finish the firearm. You can go buy the kit. They have no serial numbers, so when they show up at a crime scene, they can't be traced. And the buyers aren't required to pass a background check to buy the kit, to make the gun.
What, a file? A nail file?
Anyone from a
what an asshole.
criminal to a terrorist can buy this kit in as little as 30 minutes put together.
Next thing he's going to ban.
You know, I want to see these kits
more Tinker Toys.
treated as firearms under the Gun Control Act, which is going to require that the seller and manufacturers make the key parts with serial numbers and run background checks on the buyers when they walk in to buy that package.
What's the word package? By the way, he wants you to be really afraid of ghost guns because, of course, here's one of those ghost guns in use.
Why did you kill that bird, ass?
Yeah. Oh, that was the first ghost gun.
Scary.
Malkovich
sticks the bullet in his rabbit's foot.
In the line of fire.
Okay,
right?
So first thing, it's very, very easy to make a firearm, just so you know, okay? And that's not illegal to make a firearm at home. If you have a pipe and some copper wiring, you can make a firearm.
Yeah.
DIY.
Serial numbers are totally irrelevant. Here's why. They only track the firearm to the first bill of sale. Okay, let's be clear.
Yeah.
By the way, hit the notification bell because subscriptions don't mean a whole lot, and just know that we're live Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m.
They should have serial numbers, though, so his son can't throw them into a playground.
So his son can't put them in a kiddie pool filter. Let's go see if there are frogs in the filter. Oh, Smith & Wesson.
Yay.
Come on, man.
So here's the thing. Ghost guns, as they call them, it means this is a backdoor to try and ban parts, okay, to be clear. And this firearm right here, I did what is called a trigger job.
Watch out for that.
Yeah, you got to watch out for the firearm. He's going to get you.
Don't piss it off.
I got a ghost one in the car.
Oh, you just reach for it.
I have two.
It's not there. It's like Pigpen's cloud.
Yep.
So ghost guns are very rarely used in any kind of actual criminal altercations. Now, here's something, too. I was trying to create rebuttals for this argument, getting ready for a Change My Mind based on the data available. However, it is such bullshit that it's impossible to actually create rebuttal arguments. So here's where you go. If you go to NBC or ABC, we'll have all the sources available at louderwithcrowder.com. It says, 30% of guns recovered by the ATF are ghost guns. That was the first source. And I'm going, okay, well, let me look into this. Then I go, oh, no, wait a second. It actually says 30% of firearms recovered by the ATF in California are ghost guns. And I thought, well, okay, let me start writing this out. That's kind of ironic that it's a typically gun-restrictive state. And then I read, oh, no, wait. It's 30% of guns recovered in California from the ATF don't have serial numbers. And so they throw all the ghost guns into there. And then I realized there was no actual report. It was allegedly a verbal report given to some local NBC News reporter. What? And so I couldn't prepare for anything because it's all lies.
So this counts if you filed off the
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
Well, you can buy the kit.
Well. Yes, you can buy the kit.
It's a Beckett.
You go into any store and you're like, I need the ghost gun kit. And they're like, well, okay, right here, sir.
And again, what does this do when he talks about it? Makes it the kits, when people talk about that, for example, I have a rifle and there's a different receiver that you can put in so it fires 22 ammunition. Right? And that makes it far less expensive. This ends up creating a barrier to entry for the most poor among us to train people who might need to defend themselves in, I don't know, cities that are being burned alive. So out of the 287,000 prisoners surveyed by the Bureau of Justice, 7% purchased guns from federal firearms license dealers. 56% either had stolen it, found it at the scene of the crime, or obtained it off the black market. And then there's another 25% who basically just had it give it to them. Now, here's an interview, too, even from the, I believe, assistant director of the ATF. I don't know if he's the current assistant director because there's been a lot of turnover. Thomas Chittum admitted that ghost guns, here he is, telling you the real threat of ghost guns. It's not a thing.
On the streets, you have no idea?
No,
I have Billy D. Williams.
And how many crimes are being committed by these guns? You have no idea?
Well, not with precision. They still represent a minority of the firearms that are being used in crimes, but we do see that they're increasing significantly and rapidly.
Look, if your goal is to keep people safe, how about you give something more than, minority, increasing with significance and rapidly, tepidly, lukewarm. Like, come on, give us something to go on.
Yeah, you're supposed to be the expert. Have an idea. Come into the room.
Did the other guy say minority when he said minority?
I think he did.
I think he really did when he said minority. He's like, minority.
He's like,
no, that was me.
I heard what you said.
Oh, that was you?
That was me.
I was looking at the screen. I'm like, why would... but it would add up if they... Never mind. Swing and a miss, Dave.
No, it was me. It was me a swing and a miss. Here's another thing that they're talking about with the executive orders. None of these would do anything, by the way. These are all about control, a backdoor gun registry, banning your ability to get parts. These are infringements on your Second Amendment rights.
Not a backdoors.
And by the way, you'll hear this tomorrow when we did a Change My Mind on red flag laws. Every single person who thought they supported red flag laws sat down, we'll have this up tomorrow, read the policies from the White House website, and when I explained them, immediately opposed it. So you may think you support red flag laws. You don't. Let me explain, because that's the biggest part of this legislation. You absolutely shouldn't. It's one of those things that sounds nice and compassionate and empathetic, and it just ends up in an increase in crime and more women getting raped because they're weaker than men, and the firearm is a great equalizer. So thanks, Samuel Colt, but sorry, we've decided that we've progressed beyond giving women the ability to defend themselves. Here's another claim that they're making. He's saying that he wants to subject modified pistols to fees and a national registry to reduce gun violence. Here he is, former Vice President Joe Biden.
We want to treat pistols modified with stabilizing braces with the seriousness they deserve. A stabilizing brace shook in a pencil essentially makes that pistol a hell of a lot more accurate and a mini rifle.
That's like an ace bandage
more lethal,
on your pistol.
Effectively turning it into a short-barreled rifle.
Oh, my God.
That's what the alleged shooter in Boulder appears to have done.
I don't have the strength in my fingers to shoot no more.
That these modifications to firearms
Rheumatoid
that make them more lethal
my hands
should
feel
be
like
subject
fire.
to the National Firearms Act.
Ate too many capers.
The National Firearms Act requires that a potential owner pay $200 fee and submit their name and other identifying information to the Justice Department.
There you go. There's a registry, a national registry. And we've also seen, of course, people who have suggested that